What's up everyone, Josh here. And I hope you guys have been enjoying our series, Brick by Brick, where we're learning to take faith to a whole new level, one block at a time. And today, boys and girls, we have such an incredible story. Here, let me see if you guys can guess it. Okay. So our story today is one about trust. It has marching, it has shouting, and it has trumpets. And get this, boys and girls, at the very end of the story, a giant wall comes crashing down. Pretty cool, right? Any guesses as to what it could be? You're right, it's the story of Joshua and the walls of Jericho. A classic, one of my all-time favorites. And I hope you guys have your goggles and floaties on because we're about to dive on in. Everyone say dive on in. Great job. So, our story takes place way long ago in the book of, you guessed it, Joshua. And Joshua had just taken over as leader of the Israelites. And God told Joshua that he was going to be the one to lead them into the promised land. Now, you guys have to imagine, up until this point, the Israelites had been wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. That's a pretty long time to be walking around.
I'm tired and my knee hurts.
Which knee?
My elbow hurts and I have to go to the bathroom.
I asked you about that 5 minutes ago.
Well, I didn't have to go then.
But God had promised Joshua that if he were to remain faithful, he was going to be the one to get the Israelites to the promised land. So Joshua trusted in God and began making his way into the land of Canaan. Everyone say Canaan. Great job. And so, boys and girls, this is where our story picks up. You see, Jericho was the first city the Israelites came to as they entered Canaan. It was a giant city surrounded by a giant wall, kind of like this.
Well, this is it. Bring on the Great Wall!
Oh, okay. Maybe it didn't look quite exactly like that, but you guys get the picture. And so here's Joshua faced with the task of undertaking this giant city. Now, show of hands, how many of you guys have ever taken over a city before? Yeah, me neither. But I can only imagine how scared Joshua must have been. You know, the pressure he must have been feeling. Now, I know that's something we've all felt at one point or another, myself included. But get this, boys and girls, in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, God tells Joshua to be strong and courageous. Don't be afraid, don't be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. All Joshua had to do was be obedient to God's voice. And guess what? That's exactly what he did. You see, God told Joshua that in order to defeat Jericho, the Israelites would have to march around the city walls once a day for 6 days.
Bubble Bowl, here we come. Flag rollers, really spin those things.
But on the 7th day, they must march around the walls 7 times. And on the 7th time around, they must blow their trumpets and shout as loud as they can. Now, hold on just one second. I know what you guys are thinking. Mr. Josh, are you saying that God's plan for Jericho was to march around the city and play a couple of trumpets?
Bubble Bowl, here we come. Flag rollers, really spin those things.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And so, without hesitation, Joshua began marching. For 6 days, the Bible says, Joshua got up early in the morning, took the Ark of the Covenant, took the Israelites, and marched around the walls of Jericho.
Bubble Bowl, here we come. Flag rollers, really spin those things.
He did this every day until the 7th day. And on that day, boys and girls, guess what happened? Yep, you got it. Joshua yet again got up and marched around the walls. However, what was different about this day was that he didn't do it once or twice. No, he did it 7 times. And on the 7th time, Joshua told everyone to shout and to blow their trumpets. And then suddenly, and without warning, the walls came crumbling down. That was a close one. After that, Joshua dedicated the city of Jericho to the Lord. He remained faithful to God and learned to listen to God's voice. And that, boys and girls, actually reminds me of our big idea for this week. Our big idea is I can follow God's blueprint. Can you guys say that with me? Say, I can follow God's blueprint. Great job, boys and girls. Well, I think that's just about wraps up our time here today. I hope you guys had a blast. I know I sure did. And we'll see you next week for our series Brick by Brick. Bye.